4 times a year, all investment managers that have over 100 million in assets under management have to file what is called a Form 13F. These forms disclose exactly what moves the biggest investors in the world like Ray Dalio, Michael Burry, and Charlie Munger are making in their portfolios, and more importantly, in my opinion, it tells us what moves Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has been making over the past few months. So in this video, I want to briefly go over every move that was made in Buffett's portfolio, dig a little deeper into some of the bigger moves that he made, and I also want to give you 4 major takeaways from this report. So that being said, let's jump into it. Okay, so if we go over to the free website Dataroma, we'll be able to get lots of insights into Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway and the moves they made in Q3 of 2023. We can see they currently have 45 total holdings with a portfolio value of slightly over $313 billion. Now, if we click on the activity tab, we can see all the moves they have most recently made. And up here, it looks like they added 4 new positions, but that's actually not the case. And I'll touch on that just a little bit later in the video. But we can see here, they reduced 6 different positions and sold out of 7 entire positions. If we look at these positions, you can see they reduced Amazon, AON, CVX, HPQ, MKL, and GL. And if we look at these other positions, they sold completely out of. Now, the first one is Activision Blizzard, which was acquired by Microsoft. Then we have General Motors, CE, J&J, MDLZ, Procter & Gamble, and UPS. Keep in mind, none of these trades were major moves in Buffett's portfolio. In fact, not a single one of them made over a 1% change to his entire portfolio, as you can see from this column right here. Now, there's still quite a few insights we can take away, and I actually put some out on my Twitter the other day. If you're not following me over on Twitter, be sure to give me a follow to get more investing insights. But the first takeaway is that the top 5 positions in Buffett's portfolio remain the same, and they make up a massive amount of his portfolio at almost 80%. Apple currently makes up around 50% of his portfolio, Bank of America 9%, AXP 7.22%, Coca-Cola 7.15%, and CVX 5.93%, and like I mentioned earlier, there's 45 total holdings in this portfolio. Now, the CVX position is an interesting one. If we jump back over to Dataroma, one of the things you'll see is they did reduce this position by around 10% in the most recent quarter's filing, and if we scroll down, we can see they did that in Q2 of 2023. Scroll down further, we can see they actually did it in Q1 of 2023 as well, and in Q4 of 2022 as well. So they've been reducing their position in CVX for 4 quarters in a row. And if we jump over to Seeking Alpha, we can see over the past 10 years, CVX has seen lackluster returns, only up around 13.78%. Over the past 5 years, up around 20%. Over the past year, down 20.32%. And they are trading right at their 52-week low at current prices. Now, the company does have a nice starting dividend yield, sitting at around 4.15%. So it is worth noting that a lot of the returns you see from this company come in the form of dividends. So it is interesting that Buffett has reduced his 5th largest position for 4 consecutive quarters. Our second takeaway is that Buffett was by far a net seller in Q3. Like I mentioned earlier, he sold out of 7 positions entirely and reduced the size of 6 other positions. Now, we've already touched on these positions that he sold out of, but the fact he sold this much actually gets crazier when you consider the fact that he added no new positions in Q3. That's right, there were no new buys. And while the 13F shows they added a few new positions, this was actually a result of reorganizing its Liberty Media Sirius holdings. So they technically weren't new buys. Our 4th takeaway is simply an acknowledgement that Berkshire Hathaway's 13F stock portfolio value decreased by 10% in Q3 of 2023. The portfolio went from $348 billion to $313 billion. Now, it is also worth noting that they repurchased 3 million Class B shares in Q3 for a total outlay of $1.09 billion. And if we jump over to another very useful website called Well Wisdom, we can get some more insights. Now, the first chart I want to look at is 13F sector allocation over time. Now, this is very interesting. We can see over the past few years, his finance allocation has been reduced a little bit, while his information technology position has absolutely exploded. Now, to be fair, a lot of that is due to the fact that Apple's share price has jumped up a lot, and it's also their largest holding. But we can also see things like consumer staples becoming a smaller and smaller position in their portfolio as well. Something else worth noting is that energy has become a much larger position over the last few quarters than it has historically speaking for Buffett. Now, if you know much about Buffett, you know his favorite holding period is forever, but that doesn't necessarily mean he holds every single stock forever, and we can see the average time held for all of his positions is only 22 quarters. So that's an average holding period of a little over 7 years. Keep in mind that it is possible that Berkshire was able to delay disclosing a new holding, or the additions were in international stocks that do not need to be announced. So for now, we can only speculate as to why Buffett decided to reduce so many and sell so many positions without adding any new positions in his portfolio. But go ahead and comment down below what you think of all the moves Buffett has recently made. If you'd like to get a 7-day free trial and 50-day coupon to Seeking Alpha, then you can check it out at my link in the description. Also be sure to check out my newsletter where I recently went in depth into some of the top holdings in Warren Buffett's portfolio. Link in the description for that as well. So with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.